How does dispensationalism relate to the covenants of Scripture? First, a point of definition. Dispensationalism is often contrasted to a competing school of thought known as covenant theology. That title suggests that covenant theology is all about the covenants of Scripture, so its ideological counterpoint, dispensationalism, must reject or at least neglect those covenants. But au contraire, covenant theology is not built on the covenants of Scripture, but on three theologically derived so-called covenants not found anywhere in Scripture. Without developing that set of ideas, understand that it is incontrovertible that the covenants of covenant theology are not the covenants of Scripture. But how does dispensationalism relate to the covenants of Scripture? Let's start here. God is an infinitely wise teacher, and in his gracious effort to reveal himself to mankind, he's dealing with almost infinitely slow students. So as a perfectly wise and gracious teacher, God has parceled out his revelation in stages. That process of progressive revelation, progressive over the centuries of human history, is explicit on the pages of Scripture. Picture a simple stair-step graphic. Each riser is a season of divine revelation, and each stair-step is the resulting stage of revealed truth. And each stage, each stair-step, is built on all the revelation which has come before. And at every stage, mankind is a steward of all the truth which God has revealed to that point. Now, a steward is a servant entrusted by his master to guard and invest some treasure. In this case, the master is God. The treasure is revealed truth, and the steward is mankind. The word dispensation means stewardship, and dispensationalism simply acknowledges that the Bible is the record of successive stages of divine revelation, and thus is all about tracing and appreciating that narrative in all of its stages and all of its glory, just as it is recorded in the biblical record. In the Scriptures, there are 5 primary covenants that are pivotal and definitional to God's purposes: the Noahic, the Abrahamic, the Mosaic, the Davidic, and the New Covenant. On the one hand, those 5 are very different in substantive ways, disparate historical situations, some made with individuals, others with an entire people or even mankind, and each one is entirely distinct in its provision and its intent. And yet each one marks an unspeakably important benchmark in the unfolding of the biblical narrative. And thus a right understanding of each of the covenants of Scripture is essential and necessary to a proper comprehension of God's purposes and person as revealed in his word. So how does dispensationalism relate to the biblical covenants? Very simply, those covenants, those stunningly important and dramatic elements that punctuate the biblical narrative, are by definition studied and embraced and celebrated by dispensationalists. How could it be otherwise?